This video will be about building a body paragraph or multiple body paragraphs for your IRR and AP-Sem. So there are many components. These go from 1 through 9, but if you basically learn steps 1 through 4, you can repeat over and over and over again until you get to your final product. So a quick overview of the steps. One is you always start a body paragraph with a topic sentence. The easiest way to do this is just say, this paragraph will be about. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be amazing. I just want to know what's going to happen in your paragraph. After you tell me what's going to happen, then I should see an author credibility statement because you're going to be leading me into a source. After you give me that author credibility statement, I either need to quote or paraphrase, and including an in-text citation that comes in the parentheses at the end of that sentence. And then we need to have some commentary, which is when you explain the source to me, and then you transition out of that into your next author credibility statement, quote, commentary, transition, credibility, source, commentary, done. The final part, explaining the importance in relation to the thesis, should come naturally to you. There shouldn't be too much extra stuff that goes into that. In fact, most body paragraphs don't even need to add that extra sentence because over the course of development of those 3 or 4 sources you add in that body paragraph, you naturally make your way back to the thesis in your commentary. So generally, I don't focus on that as much as making sure that you are comparing your sources and inviting them all to a table conversation, if you will. So let's start off. A topic sentence. This is one sentence, and it's only explaining what the paragraph will be about. It's that easy. You don't have that many high expectations with this one. So an example of this, RTRs would favor a re-examination of our current renal transplant system due to its patient-related problems. After reading this, I know I'm about to read about these RTRs and re-examination. I know what I'm about to read because this topic sentence is telling me what I'm supposed to read. There's not a lot of nuance to this. You're just going to tell your reader what they are about to read. Then we build our author credibility statement. This is non-negotiable. You cannot have no author credibility statement in your essay. Every single source needs one. So this is going to be a statement that proves that your author is credible. For example, chiefly amongst these concerns is the lengthy waiting time. According to Milliman research reports on organs written by T. Scott Bentley and Stephen J. Phillips, Fellows of the Society of Actuaries. Notice, this is woven into this little kind of chiefly amongst these concerns and the lengthy waiting time. I don't even need that little beginning part there. All I want to make sure that you have in your author credibility statements is, according to research report authors, this person, this person, this person, and whatever makes them credible, right? They're actuaries or they're part of the Fellow Society of Actuaries and they're PhDs. Since I know that, good. I can trust them. Build an author credibility statement. It's a non-negotiable. After you have that, you actually put in your quote there. It's that easy. You don't have to do too much with it. You just throw your quote down. Quotes are always denoted by the quotation marks, and then they always have a in-text citation in parentheses at the end of that sentence. And then you want to make sure that if you are choosing to paraphrase, you're using your own words and you're paraphrasing the components of the research. So if you don't want to use a quote, you don't have to. You can paraphrase. Just make sure that you're using your own words for that one. Now, an example of a quote for this that I took from the AP College Board stuff. The average wait time for renal transplants in 2014 is approximately 679 days. Bentley et al. Notice this is a direct quote. They took it from Bentley et al. Bentley et al. Is our in-text citation. This is our direct quote. It's not a paraphrase. It's taken directly from the research source. So that's what makes it a direct quote. Then we need to talk about commentary and transition words. So commentary means you are going to describe the research in your own words. I'm not a person who's going to read through as much research as you did. It's just the truth. People reading research reports are often looking for very specific things that they need in order to supplement their own ideas, opinions, or their own research, right? You probably already did that when you skimmed your own research, okay? But part of this is when you use someone else's research, you want to make sure that you are explaining it in the way that gives face to the research itself. You want to make sure that you're explaining it in a very strong way, and that's where commentary comes in. Think 2 to 3 sentences of commentary explaining the research and what it means after you give the author credibility statement and quote. So think 2 to 3 sentences here, okay? Once your commentary is complete, you just transition to your next source. Use a transition word like in comparison, however, on the other side of things, and this argument, furthermore. All of those are transition words to get you to your next source. So here's your example of commentary. While the authors find that this wait time has decreased significantly from an average of 877 days and argue its positivity, it still leaves a wait time of almost 2 years, and it would likely be one of the main goals of a new system to further decrease this. Notice the student decided to use a longer sentence for this, but you could easily break this up into 2 or 3 sentences. So even if it's just one sentence that you put as commentary, that you still have to describe what is going on in the quote, what is going on in the research. So sentences don't necessarily matter as much here as much as you are explaining and using commentary to show that quote. Then we transition away from that using a transition word, and we use the word additionally here. And then they use the word according to. You know they're going to move into a credibility statement, which brings us into the fact that this is a recurring process. You're going to repeat these steps over and over again. So, for example, steps 2, 3, and 4 repeat for sources 2 and 3 that you throw into your first body paragraph. Then you repeat all these steps again, including step 1, which is the topic sentence, when you get into your second body paragraph. So, if you are inviting conversation within your sources, if you are showing this one source, saying a transition, including another source, another transition, including another source, you are hitting all the components that you need in order to have a successful body paragraph. You will repeat this as many times as you need, whether it's body paragraph 1, 2, or 3, no matter how many you have, this is going to be the same process that you will repeat over and over. In addition, and the last thing, do not use an I, we, you, or us in your body paragraphs. No one needs to know necessarily what you're thinking until your conclusion. We only really care about what the researchers are saying and how other people are comparing to these different forms of research. Okay, that's all I'm looking for. That is our body paragraphs. If you want to have an example of this, process repeating, here we go. Additionally, according to Sharon R. Kaufman of the University College San Francisco, this is our author credibility statement. Due to advances in medicine, a greater percentage of RTRs are elderly. This creates social friction as younger donated organs have their potential years of life unused and a person might not live through the next few decades. Notice there's no quotation marks around this. They paraphrase this information. This is an example of paraphrasing and it's still successful. An improved system would be more accurate at matching ages of organs and thus reduce the social unrest caused by shifting demographics. However, obesity complicates matters for RTRs, as per a short report by yada yada yada. However is our transition word here. We are moving into our next source, but it seems seamless because there's commentary guiding me as the reader through this information, through this conversation. And that's what you're doing. You're having a conversation within your paragraphs, guiding your reader through the research that you have researched for the past few weeks.